Hey,
Can you AC?
sorry,
Can you hear my AC running?
I do not hear it. No,
That is the upset of the century. This thing is loud as hell.
you have window AC or just loud
It's like
central AC?
in the in the frame of the, what do you call that? In the wall, yeah.
Yeah. I'm starting the cam, by the way.
Oh, hold on. Well, I'm not even in the thing yet. Here, and I'll mute you. You gotta find the link.
It's a whole journey. Can I announce that we are live?
All right, now we think we're good.
Yeah, you're here.
Oh, here's the problem always is you're not as loud on this. Can I change your? I can't change your volume.
Testing, testing.
Just talk loudly.
Oh, do it. Well, that might not be a problem here in a second.
My AC is about 20 decibels over what it needs to be.
Thunderous.
I'm glad everyone else can hear it though. That's because I'm looking right at it. It's right next to me.
How many BTU is it?
Oh, that's a great question. No idea. I toured another place today. It had the same thing. I'm like, I guess I'm not gonna be able to afford anywhere that has like the nice central air.
You know what? We have window AC at my house. It's not bad, dude.
Yeah, but what do you ever? I guess you do get up pretty high though.
Yeah. I mean, it was 97 today.
Oof. I got 92 and 93 today, and it knocked out half our power grid.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, not half, but some of it. Water needs to give us some of his 17 viewers.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Do you want to like chat on his stream and say,
I'm
"Hey,
on it
we're
right
live"?
now.
Oh, see, I don't want to get started without having a few more people here.
Multi-ball ankle 1 for clutch time. Because we've got. No, you're even watching it, so you don't count. Cell's watching
Am
it.
I in there? Oh yeah, I am.
Misery's watching it. Swag's watching it. Do you know they're all coming here?
Absolutely. Is it? Are we doing this now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in.
God,
If you're in.
can I just give me a little bit here? I'm so freaking frustrated by this. It's just
I don't want to talk about it.
I really don't
know.
either. It's incredibly frustrating to me. We'll give the background, right? So
Oh boy.
they play game one, game two. Way of Pains wins both games. I thought they're playing really well. I say well, they're winning. Okay.
Yeah, these were guys. These were pub level games, and I mean, it was not very good tag pro.
Okay, so we get to game three, whatever, and Gamma, I guess, refreshes. I think about a minute into the game. It's like 9 minutes
10 seconds.
thereabouts.
10 seconds. 10 seconds into the game.
Whatever it is, so they encountered the group bug where he rejoins the group and there is no join game button. He's unable to join the game. By the way, Nameless doesn't have an end game button, which he neglects to tell anyone throughout all of this.
Oh.
That's usually what happens when that bug shows up. But
didn't know that. I was
set that aside.
He came back into the group when it was he came back into the group like while the game was going on, like in the middle maybe.
Yep. So Gamma can't get back in. OPH is continuing to play 4v3, and every single situation that I've seen when this happens, I don't care about rules. I don't care about what the rulebook says. You go back to group with everyone, and you play it. You play it like you would in old mLTP rules. You go 1-0 or whatever the caps after the reset is.
Well, there is a reset at 1-0, like 850 something.
So we were talking about it. Make it either like it's 1-0 at 9 minutes, 1-0 at 8 minutes, or 2, whatever it is, whatever you land on. That's how it should be handled. And freaking OPH plays the remaining.
Talk about it. It's not important. The rest of the
It's just so stupid. It's like this is why no one wants to play this freaking game. This time wasting is so ridiculous, and it's like
now you're learning.
It's incredibly frustrating. And poor Timmy's in voice chat trying to sort this thing out. This is why no one wants a CRC. It's because people do this stupid stuff. Like, sure, they're hiding behind the technicality of the rules. I don't care. Go back to the group. Play the game. Just be a good sport. How hard is that? Everyone in that game's over 25 years old. What are we doing?
For me, it's not about sportsmanship so much. Like Dalek, I've not had very many interactions with. That's a great grab by Go. I love that. You use one portal to go to the other portal. I mean, interactions with. I'm trying to think. So Selfie. I mean, I know normally is a good guy and generally, pretty easygoing. And I mean, he seems very nonplussed about the whole thing, which I think is very much against his. It just is very confusing to me. I think these are all generally, well, like I said, Selfie's a good person. I don't know why they're responding like this.
Well, and that's what makes me so mad.
This seems very cut and dry.
Every single one of them, aside from maybe JK, because I wouldn't believe it, every single one of them knows that they're wrong. They know that they're wrong. They all know it.
Yeah,
and that's what's so frustrating.
I don't think it's a situation where it's even a situation where you could say, "Oh, I'm being gaslit into being told I'm wrong." Like, nah. I mean,
they all know. It's because OPH sucks, and they're looking for a point where they can get it, and it's just so frustrating.
And don't get me wrong, they were probably upset in a way because they got unlucky and they had to take a pretty large drop off in ability when you have to sub out Mueller for JK. And
can we talk about that, by the way? Game 1, that was the worst performance from a 15 return player I have seen in my life. I mean, he was abysmal.
You guys, honestly, we should link the game 1 because people didn't see it, right? It wasn't streamed.
Yep.
Oh my God. Remember, some players just in general, when you are thinking, oh, I'm in the middle of like minors, I can get close to majors. Like there are some moments this week from a lot of teams where you're like, you gotta think about the game differently if you want to make the next level. And Face too. Face is another person who I generally think is not necessarily a bad person. Sorry.
No, I mean, we can just we set it
We're
aside.
We're not talking about this. We're not talking about like the hypotheticals of that anymore.
Set it aside for now.
All right.
The gameplay to keep going and setting JK's aside for a second. I thought like OPH. I mean, gosh, I saw Dalek getting walked by Gamma like more than once.
I do think they were just like.
I mean, that was
in such a situation. They like we need points anyway. We can get
it. But like they were so freaking bad. I couldn't believe what I was watching. That's Selfie. That's Dalek. And I understand you got the sub, whatever, but you Face not a bad player. I mean, they were just getting whacked, and it was like I couldn't understand how they were just so bad. I mean, this is the worst team in the league you're playing, and they were down 2-0 early. I mean, it's absurd.
That's what I'm thinking too. No Swag is just like and frankly, if you were watching the game like we were, I kind of understand. Okay, yeah, these guys are gonna look for a win any way they can get it because they're probably they were two close games, so I can understand why they probably got a little upset initially.
Game 1 was 12-6.
Yeah, but the second game was closer.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it looked like a pub, honestly. So I mean, you guys aren't missing much if you weren't streaming it and watching it, but. I think if the CRC does not make it like 1-0, 8 or 9 minutes, it's the dumbest decision they'll make all season, and that's saying something. I put that in all caps in my doc, and that's saying something.
Is that somehow related to a series we're discussing later, perhaps, or
Oh no, I
just?
don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it's not about that. It's more
All right.
about like the way that everything else was handled earlier, like in the first couple weeks of the season.
Yep.
So, ooh,
Uh,
irony, not good.
Let me. I had something else there.
Yeah, I mean,
The,
it's for me the sportsmanship element doesn't really come into it. It's just thinking of it from the standpoint of yeah, I get that the rules say one thing, but if we've all played this game for at least a couple years now, we know that the game can break a little bit sometimes. There's no rule element to it in my mind.
yeah, and I mean clearly the rule book is not. I mean
It,
it's not updated or meant to work for this situation.
right,
It was never
because I
written with
mean,
this in mind.
new problems seem to pop up every week still,
Yep.
or not necessarily a week, but you think it's not a DC from like
Yes.
that's fine, I guess. I You could even give them another cap then for making a stupid DC and creating the whole situation in the first place. And I don't know.
Robiny, I don't care about your trolling. I will ban you from chat. You know very well LPH is wrong too, so I'm honestly through with it.
Yeah, them being in the wrong the way they are is kind of the point. Not so much about like not so much the why and the how and the who even.
Yep.
I mean, I thought for a second, like initially, maybe I understand now because of the whole thing with Nameless not having the end game button. But
And you know how
I
easy it
I
would have
could
been for him to
have I
just
thought
say that?
I thought it was one of those where he was saying like he saw Taurus in group chat go, "Hey guys, can you stop wasting our time?" I thought he was literally just trying to like buy some time to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Refined, I would do that, except there is no argument for them. I mean, there's literally none. So I'm not gonna even entertain that.
Yeah, it's not so much like the sportsmanship doesn't come into me for it just because it's such a cut and dry thing.
All right, I want to flip it to Wade Pains quickly because
So
prior
let's
to
just
that going to crap,
yeah this and here's the other thing is the CRC, since this has actual playoff implications of any sort, which
this
I
is
thought
actually a huge decision, but by the way,
yeah,
huge decision.
which I thought was not the case going into that game. I thought WAP was pretty much out. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
if they just gotta do something,
yeah, so
at least like they play 8 or 9 minutes of the game again.
yeah, game one, game two, I thought you talked about it. It was like it was pub style. It was not particularly good, but they were
For
just
both teams.
going, they were just kind of balls to the wall and somehow doing enough. It's like whenever if you remember those old like Dallas, I say old, but like the Dallas Stars teams coached by Lindy Ruff in like the 2010s, and it
I
was
love that
it
you're
was
trying to
run and
bring
gun,
hockey into
no
this.
defense being played, and they were winning games 6-5. That's kind of how I felt about Way of Pains tonight. It was just like boom, 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 chances on both sides, and somehow they were coming out on top on most of them. I love the style they were playing with, and they're not.
Yeah,
Again, I don't think they're good,
no,
but
no,
they
no.
were
It's just
winning. You
no. I
know,
mean, don't get me wrong. Both these teams. It's funny we're saying all this too because both these teams do end up getting just absolutely smacked around by like whoever the fourth seed is.
probably, but they deserve the chance.
Yeah.
You know, so I
Yeah.
mean, and I'm
Poet
so
die.
invested in
Poet
this
die.
Way Pin story if they do make
I,
playoffs.
I didn't realize there were any playoff implications of any sort. So I think the CRC in this situation knows that it would be a major injustice if we were gonna either what do you call it, either either count the result or yeah, either count the result or do whatever you do with it's just a mess.
Yeah,
Again, another week in the books.
yeah. And then, did you see how Game 4, Game 5 finished? Because I had
No, I
been
was
unable to watch
watching
that
game
game.
4, but one of the yeah, like I said, one of them was a close OPH win, and then Tag Pro.
Yeah, so
Uh,
while you're doing that, the path I kind of laid out for Way Pains to make playoffs, I had them getting 12 points tonight, which, depending on the outcome of Game 3, is relatively about
so
what they could get.
so game 4, right? Game 4 was a 3-2 OPH win. So 2 1-cap wins. Yeah, this is literally a series decider. This third game.
And yes, that's another thing that upsets me. And I know it's just gonna make Nameless laugh harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I care, and I think it's
The
stupid.
the
And I'm not.
the what who me element is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just. It frustrates me to no end, man. It's like, all right, so that's that series. I'm fed up with it. I really am. What was next? You want to
Well,
like just do a quick breeze through LBT furballers?
yeah, LBT continues to impress me, Anka.
Stop.
I don't know what to tell you.
The only good thing I'll say about them tonight is that Squeep's playing with a broken wrist and they swept still. So I got to give him some credit. Um,
See, I don't move my wrist at all when I play. Maybe that's my problem. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe it just hurts to press down.
just
Squeak,
holding it there for an extended period of time, maybe.
Can you tell me? Can you? I mean, if you play with Splint on, I guess.
I mean, this
or what do you call
furballers
it?
team. I mean, I hate to say they've given up. They've given up.
Well, no, I thought they're kind of on that playoff line, so I think it's no guarantee for one thing. I just think my suggestion for them is to watch some majors gameplay. Their macro is all off, and like even when they get in good situations, they don't know exactly what to do. Yeah, and see, so Sweeps has broken thumb and tissue injury.
I would agree with that. But
the thumb is not a tech pro injury.
But that's what happens, and this is the same conversation we had last week when we talked about like novice failing people. It's like that they have one player in CT Crunch who was this is his sophomore minor season, first season as a league ball. They have Toy, who's essentially a rookie in the minors this season. They've got Timote, who's also a rookie in the minors this season. Like, yeah, they can watch majors VODs, and they can maybe try to get better. And Iceplat, God bless him, he hasn't played in 7 seasons. I mean, they're just not. It's not good, man. It's just not good.
It's more for like their future
prospects, perhaps.
Prospects as players. Like if you want to keep playing minors in the future, like they don't know what to focus on. It looks like. There were moments where they got 3 players fighting on a tag, which is nice, and then they're letting the FC on the other side of the map get a rolling bomb uncontested 2v0 with their teammate. Like it's one of those, where you want to. There are easy ways to improve in this game is just by thinking through a little bit quicker and making the correct decision a little bit more often. Because I mean, it's not like they're mechanical beasts, but they can at least play the game without being exposed, but they get exposed by their decision making right now, which I mean comes with time. But we're already 5 weeks into the season, so it's not like you got more gelling to do with your teammates.
Yep. And then I guess other thing to note.
I do wonder with LBT, they got a little bit too flashy on Aceta. I'm curious to see if they play smarter when it's HGB or FWO or the other top teams in there. Like it's a group of 5 right now for me in terms of teams that can win.
The way I see it, like when you're better than the team, and I think LBT clearly knew they were better. Like you just play loose, man.
Yeah.
And then I think
they were playing a little loose for actual game though.
Yeah, but you saw it was like game 1, I think, and maybe it was game 2. The first 4 minutes it was relatively close or even tied, and then suddenly LBT breaks off, +5 caps in the last half of the game. Like, that's all it is to me. I mean, they know they're better, and they're just not playing smart, right? And then they're still winning by a bunch anyway. I think to your point, they'll lock in once they play an actual good team.
I hope so, because I don't think I've seen them play. Let's think. Have they played any of those top teams?
So they've not played TMS. They've not played FWO. We had thought OPH was a big matchup. It ends up being not seemingly that big a matchup. So they still are relatively untested. They beat HGB. Oh, that's right. They did beat HGB. That's right. With their full roster. Yeah, I remember that. Yep. So they passed one test.
That's the telltale sign right there is when you got FWO and TMS right there.
Yeah, so you're right. That'll be an interesting end to the season. Good litmus test, definitely against FWO. And we can get the TMS here if you want, and how they did it against TPO tonight.
Yeah, were you watching any of this or?
Yeah, I was able to watch the first 3-4 games for them.
I mean, we can make an opinion. I think I made jokes earlier on. I'm glad they didn't come up so true, but it was one of those where the do you get the biggest asterisk in TP history for making the team up with 3 weeks left in the regular season and then still going on to win the Mooper?
It,
No,
we
just me.
we talked about this again last
It's
week.
we didn't talk about the team composition though, and I think this is obviously a better team than the former version of TPO.
No, and this ties in, I think, to what I was saying last week. It was like, and this was a scenario where we were talking about having three out of lead subs. We only have two tonight, right? Because Wass and MC come in, they call up Josh from Novice.
Well, Josh, I think is permanent.
Yes, he's permanent, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he was in Novice at the time, right?
Right.
But what I was saying last week when the discussion was like maybe they should get three out of leads, it's like it's so hard to balance. Like
Yeah.
you can say Wassa and BLCU, maybe they're equivalent in some ways, at least like
Sure.
tier wise. And you can say MC's maybe an AJ, but to your point, once you
He's
get
better, but yeah.
but to your point, once you get into the game, the composition matters so much, and that's why this out of lead stuff's so hard to balance with one person, let alone with two.
I think they leaned a little bit too hard on the idea of making them competitive
I think
versus.
so too. I mean, we looked at that first game against TMS; it was 10-3.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening after a what do you call that first after like I mean they played scrims maybe and that's it. So
Yeah, essentially. Do you
yeah,
have final? What was the final series score for that? Do you have it?
oh he just had the thing up on me.
What's like it was 6-2. Oh no, that's the wrong series. That's
Teams. There, I'll tell you.
all right.
And TPO. They won 2 games. TPO did,
Yeah, so they go 2-3.
and so they were probably. Oh, well, let's think. What's the outcome of that last week's game? Were those forfeits, right?
Yes, those were forfeits.
Okay,
TPO
so they
was
might
getting
be.
blasted game one, and then that's where it all unraveled.
Yeah, I think Wass is better than Balls to you. So yeah,
Yeah, so
tough to do. But
yeah,
I think in general you gotta lean toward hey, get the if I mean they're not a Mooper contender beforehand, so you can't turn them into one.
yeah, and I think
You gotta
after
make it more
tonight,
novice players.
when you go 2 for 5 against who's the team that's still number one in the league, I think by standings,
Yeah.
I think they seriously
You,
overreached a little bit on it.
if you're LBT, if you're HGB, if you're FWO, you're pretty pissed off because now you've got another team to worry about to make the championship.
Yeah,
And TMS is probably pissed off because they played well those last few games and instead had to grind to get those wins.
yeah. I mean, there was a 4-2 game on a flaccid type map where what's their name? TPO I think was up 2-0 early, and they just had to grind it back. Yeah, TPO's a problem, I think, and that's not how it should be.
What did I suggest? It was somebody for Wassa, and it would make it pretty even. Oh, beast mode for Wassa. That would be a pretty close. That would be a closer approximation of what TPO was before the raging.
I can't.
Because they have fucking Moto on that team,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, so there's no one on that team that's even like close to Moto level.
agreed. And I can't speak to majors really because I'm only in majors this season, right? But historically, in the seasons that I've been a part of as captain of minors, like when we have an out of league sub situation, the CRC's always leaned towards a player that's worse than the player you're
Right.
replacing, just to avoid this sort of thing, right? So the classic example for me is when Sugar goes to my team. I think that was season 27, and Cell was Sugar's replacement, and God bless Cell, but we were a much worse team without Sugar on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they just over index. And again, it's so hard when you're doing it twice now instead of just for one player to do it with two. And I still hate Randy Bobandy. Still has no minors minutes this season, dude. He could have been out there tonight.
I can think of a few players in this league. No, I can't think of. I know you love Randy, but
But my point.
It's the
I don't
same.
care if he's not eligible, Nameless. He's good enough to play minors. But I'm
Can't play in the league if he's not eligible for it.
Listen, you gotta let these novice players get some minutes here, man. You're replacing half a roster with people who didn't sign up. Like it's again the balance thing, but also like give some novice people an opportunity to play. That fits as your team's too good problem. You know,
It's about sportsmanship.
it is.
It's about sportsmanship, man.
Well, just massively upgrading the team isn't sportsmanship.
In that rude, in those no good OPHers. Oh my god.
I mean, you're doing that as a joke. That's 100% how I feel. And I'm sure they're just laughing to themselves about that.
No class men.
No class. It's true.
What's wrong with
Just
them?
go back to group. Just go back to group. Just go back to group. I mean, what are we talking about, dude?
I've had too many substances for this conversation.
You know if that was she was on the other foot. These OPH players would be screaming, dude. They'd be screaming.
You want to go to the mailbag? Let's see what we got going on here.
Yeah, if you want. Are we still on the mailbag thing?
I mean,
was that the only series left?
I think TMS played pretty well. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I hate that TPO's good now.
Oh, Trapson, it was I got him going on it. Don't think I didn't do it on purpose.
It really just fires me up.
Borges asks, I think we didn't answer this one last week. Should the amount of add and drops be reduced to 1 again? It rewards bad drafting, and there have been barely any significant trades the past few seasons.
Yeah, and I hated this question for a few reasons.
Now, the thing I said in response, at least in the doc, was like, how much of it is just trades where people just get swapped around versus actual minors drops that you kind of have to play for and say, oh, we could really upgrade our team. and so what happens once? I don't know what reducing it to 1 does.
Yeah, that was kind of well. Let me pull up. I'm sure I wrote something in response to that.
You wrote a nice long thing for this.
I don't want to misquote myself. Yeah. All right. So the whole point. My whole point was these ad drops have been relatively unchanged. I think literally since I started playing. I mean, there's been some changes to like, oh, you can bid TC based on the draft value of the drop player and all this, and that kind of changes the dynamics of it. But I mean, if people are gonna drop, it's gonna like whether it's 1 ad drop or 2, they're gonna drop players they don't want. Like I don't think giving them extra opportunity to drop someone is really making that much of a difference. If you really wanted to punish people for drafting poorly, there'd be no ad drop and you'd eliminate trades entirely, which I think is stupid. And I'm not in favor of it, but if that's really your concern, that's what you do. You just eliminate roster movement entirely.
Oh, wait. If he's asking like the number of weeks where you can do ad drops.
That is what he's asking, yes.
I thought he was saying like 1 per team, which is, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I think you should do 2.
But my point was, so I actually wrote this down. So look at me go. There's only 1 non-swap majors drop, so that was Poet for Russ, right? It was the 1 swap. So the only majors drop the minors this season was Jazz.
Yeah, that was rule enforced anyways.
Right. Yeah. So the only like real majors free agent that dropped the minors was Jazz. So all of these other roster moves, of which there were a ton, and not all of them for, some of them for discipline reasons, they were all involving novice balls or 4th balls. And like, do I really care if people swap their 4th ball 3 times? Not really.
Oh yeah, it doesn't make a material change.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so they try another week to try out a different 4th ball? Yeah, I don't really care.
Spjork dropped down too.
Oh, that's true. But that was part of the discipline thing. They got him for free, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's always the line you gotta draw between minors drops versus, the idea of letting people play.
And then Borg's second part of that.
Teams change around their 4th balls. Doesn't change anything.
Yep. typically. And then so Borges' second half of that, just regarding trades, and he talks about there's not any significant trades. It's again, it's not really a. I don't think it's a problem that the league needs to solve. It's like people don't trade their players. There aren't significant trades because they value their good players.
Yeah, I think when trades were really a big deal, it was earlier on and there were more teams in the league and everything was so stratified. Like I remember like trades were definitely a big thing in those early seasons, like for you and me at least, with like
Mm-hmm.
NLTP and minors, when there's more teams and more players around that are kind of around the same level. Now it's like you've got these clear strata of, first balls, second and third balls, fourth balls, and it's so hard now to get proper value the right way.
Yeah, but the only thing I get mad about is trading within the strata. You're saying people don't do that either because they're like, okay, if they're roughly equivalent, why would I do it? And I've
Yeah,
always I've always hated that, and I'm like because you're the seventh place team in the league, just like try something.
trades trades also aren't such a big thing in Tag Pro versus because it's the one season thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if we played like a dynasty style, trades would be a little bit more interesting because there's long term value to think of. And that's an interesting point too. Do teams just say, hey, we don't need to trade, we'll just worry about an ad drop thing? Yeah, I mean,
Well, and I don't know that I agree with that because again, the only
if you lose the first 2 weeks, you just go, okay, well, whatever happens this third week's no big deal because we can get the first player that drops.
right, you're looking for a majors drop, right? But for 7 of the 8 teams, you're probably not getting a majors drop. So like, does that really discourage trades? I don't think so. I think people just
Yeah,
like their
maybe
own
not.
players in their draft pits, and they're
Yeah,
like, why would I make a lateral move
there aren't
to
as
try something?
many. There aren't as many situations where like I'm a captain, you're a captain in the same league. There are a bunch of other teams around us, a bunch of other different players that like we have such like wild differences in opinions. Whereas like say I thought I'm a goat was really good and you didn't think he was, and I would trade like a certain combination of players for him.
You know, and that's true. I did mention the TC change, but yes, so like I would agree. Waiver points, especially
Useless.
back in novice, that was a basically people would it was an arms race to accumulate as many waiver points as you could, which did involve trading.
Oh, true. Yeah, it was like a currency of sorts.
Yeah, so that's true. So we don't have that mechanic anymore, which does I would agree does limit, I guess your incentive to trade. I would agree
Hmm.
with that. Quick break, since I don't think we've hit it yet. T-shirt ranking.
Oh, what I can't remember. The VOD is like muted or something for one of them that I was trying to figure out the ranking for.
No, that's not
This is
good.
this is number 3 or number 4 right here. The Anteaters. This is on Home Field Apparel.
Wow. Well, UC
Kind of if I
Irvine,
have
huh?
I not worn the Tulane one yet, but check out the Anteater. The
No, I
Anteater.
see it. Yeah, nice little surfboard. That's good.
It's a fan favorite, that one. How many minutes are we at?
We are at 33. It's been a short one so far.
Yeah, I mean the Tag Pro was not much to write home about this week,
Well, I guess
sadly
so. One
again.
series has not
And we're
been
missing
played,
one, and we're
right?
missing a game, which I think is the another good series right there. HGB and FWO.
Yeah.
Is that Saturday? Did someone say?
I thought I heard someone say Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Any feelings about the rampant rescheduling running through this week?
At least they're getting their games in on a decent schedule.
Oh, I guess I'm thinking from a majors perspective. I think for majors, it's been like horrible, like not
Oh,
timely at all.
I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, I guess minors been a little bit better, and it's been weird because there's been
No,
replays,
they've
right?
not been better.
Yeah.
They've they've got what do you call that? They've just got the two big misses with those FWO thing. Yeah, Anka, it sounds like you're just this is like the not the right week to send to watch Tag Pro just because you had to watch so much of it last night while you were playing.
It's been a lot recently, yeah. But that's the commitment we made, just trying to bring content to the community. So
Yeah, we're trying to have some fun, and all of a sudden,
I'm gonna
Traston
have to
brings
have
up a
one
great
week
point.
out of 7 where I'm fired up. Okay.
Traston brings up a great point, which is, what did you think was going to happen if you were OPH? Oh, we're oh yeah, the CRC's issues are more with letting people play at the wrong times.
Yeah, I know someone, and here I am going back to the rulebook after being on my
The rule book
soapbox.
is the rule book.
Yeah, there is a rule in there about 72 hours for reschedules.
Yeah, I think if you make the race schedule within 72 hours, that's good enough for me.
No. So that's frustrating too because it's like we can estimate what standings are and stuff like that, but when stuff gets spread around like a week or 2 weeks, it's like how do I even keep track of who's playing who and what is
Yeah,
doing to the standings? That's really frustrating. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I guess they'll play Saturday. I think
Have you been watching my rematch streams?
a little bit. It's
It's a
soccer, I guess.
it's a fun game.
Yeah, sure.
I'm almost enjoying it a little bit too much.
Do,
I've already got a handful of hours on there,
do you have
but it, but it's
a?
but it's been 92 degrees out, so I feel like I get a pass.
Yeah, I haven't done anything outside or anything the past couple of days.
Need a little
Just
bit
kind
of
of been hiding.
air conditioning there.
Do you have a prediction for the series this weekend?
Ooh, this is what we rarely get to do.
I know.
Um, I think FWO takes 3 of 5, and HGB looks better than people expect them to look.
Okay, so tell me what you think people expect HUB to look like, because I might be people.
I think people expect FWO to be like the unkillable monster, and we'll just yeah, they're gonna 5-0 them. Every game is gonna be a 3-cap game. Don't worry. At least that's the opinion I get people. I mean, people are in love with this FWO team, and I enjoy the way they play the game. I just don't. I think HGB's got something about them.
It feels like you're just talking straight at me right now.
No, no, not. I mean, you're obviously the person that has been loudest banging the drum, but uh, I feel like other people are saying something similar at least.
Yeah, so I would go. I saw HUB get smacked 4-1 by LBT with their full lineup. So to me, although I'll tell you, Vic, we played our majors game against Vic's team. I actually thought, and maybe it was more Bam, Tinder, etc. But Vic, I actually thought played pretty well. So maybe he brings that energy for the game on Saturday. But I do think just FWO is better. And if LPT is beating HGB 4-1, I'm counting on FWO to pick up 4 games.
Do we call them the Jazzos?
The Jazzos. Do you want to hear an update?
They're a full team. They're a full team.
You want to hear an update on the OPH situation?
Of course I do.
The vote has gone through. Why don't you give me your prediction on what the vote ended up being? What's the end decision here?
I would say they would either have called it a forfeit win for OPH, or they would have said the full game has to be replayed.
Well, the good news is you got neither. It is a 1-0 game at 9 minutes. Which is where we started.
Man. God is real. My faith has been repaid.
It's too much, man. It really is.
Oh.
So who knows when that gets
Shelby's gonna be on vacation. Shelby's gonna get played up.
Yeah, didn't he say he was leaving tomorrow or something?
Yeah.
Are they playing now?
Maybe that's why he's got the tone he's got tonight. I'm really not a fan. Like, I know Selfie. He's not.
Yeah, that was
of all the people to be sitting there like defending it was not expecting that.
No, Tinder. That's what it should be.
We just don't. You never know.
The road to get here has been long and troublesome.
Arduous,
yes. That's a good one.
Razgris asks, will U.S. contenders ever come back?
Not without a significant increase in the game population. And I
Yeah,
think
no,
I put on
I
my
would.
response. Sorry to interrupt
Yeah, you
you. I think
did. You basically said the same thing. It was like you think. Oh, you think if the game explodes,
yes. So
you think it's gonna overtake
I
the.
do. So I'll
I
expand
thought
on
that was
this
a
a
little
little
bit of
bit.
an odd question or about odd answer.
No, and I've been thinking. I've had conversations in the Discord about this, and no one really ever takes me seriously on it. But it's like, so let's say hypothetically, somehow Steam works, and the game sees for the game a massive influx.
Are we saying to like to at least old levels?
Yeah, to
Like
at
when
least
you and I
old
were playing?
levels.
Yeah.
But though I think when I'm
98 to
considering
100
this,
players on a given night.
I think when I'm giving this answer, I think more than that.
Right, oh yeah, so I mean 130,
But
150 at
but my,
least.
yeah, so my feeling is if the game gets popular again, quote unquote popular, there's going to be an influx of new people. Yeah, and some of them might filter into the traditional competitive structure. There's going to be a lot of people who play other competitive games that come over to play this game, and they're going to come over with their own ideas about how a competitive league should operate. And honestly, the Tag Pro Future Group might have their own ideas about how a competitive league should operate that maybe is affiliated with Tag Pro officially, which may or may not be Major League Tag Pro. My feeling is we're going to end up with a if that happens, we would end up with a U.S. contender style league in which people form their own teams, and it'd be a ladder system. I think that's the purest form of competitive, and I think when that happens, I think mLTP as we know it kind of gets shoved to the side. You're muted, by the way. At least I can't hear you.
I think if they were gonna do that, and I think U.S. contenders could make a comeback, and if the game blows up a little bit more again, but they gotta max that out at like 5 players.
Roster wise, you mean?
Yeah,
Yep.
because there were some. I remember there
I
were
had
some
9 people
teams
on my
that like
team.
yeah like had
Yep.
7 or 9 players, and like when the majors teams only wanted like it was. I mean, can we go back to is the subreddit still there?
Yes, it is. So
There were a couple teams.
Trapson's follow up is what would be different from USC in a ranked team mode. The difference is USC is a separate entity outside of just a ranked queue. I guess is the way I would put that. There's rules and things that might be different rule set than what ranked is, right?
Yeah, we had some
And there's scheduling to No Sweat's point,
very stacked
yes.
teams: D Star, Inter, CBivy, Protag, Mex, Jubs. Uh, some of the Western teams got pretty obnoxious.
Yep.
Hark, BDL,
I know my team had
Ishi,
8 Pi
Cynical,
players
Abe,
on it.
Crippy, Mr. Hat. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think so Nameless says Fender relaunched it a while back. I think I was a part of it. Like I played
I
in
do
it when they
remember it
relaunched
existing,
it,
yeah.
and then it quickly died out again, right? Because people
Yeah,
were
I
burned
remember it
out. There's
existing.
not enough people, and so on and so on. I just think if we ever get a big influx of people again, that's going to be the preferred competitive format. And whether any of us are affiliated with how that new competitive league shapes up, I don't know if that happens. You know what I mean?
What a squadron back here in the day. Eldon, Rat Pack, Bulgasol, Costanza,
Mm-hmm.
STDs,
Yep.
former #1 team.
How'd you get on that team?
Me, Eldon, and STDs for sure were tight back in the time.
True. I guess Eldon would stream our B team games. Now that I think about it.
STDs. I'm trying to think of someone. There was someone else that was also pretty tight with. I'd have to think. What a squadron that
The
was.
squad. All right.
Okay.
That's the USC question. You want? Is there anything else on there?
No, just what Riley asked what life lessons Tag Bro taught us, and my life lesson is don't get addicted to something like this when your brain is still developing.
I'm gonna let that slide. I hate those sort of cop outs. Like, God forbid you enjoy something.
No, that's the thing is, but there's a difference between enjoying it
Sure.
and I mean, think like we mentioned the
Yes,
other
the
week,
Valentine's Day. Yes.
where it bleeds into real life.
Yeah, that's your problem. Sure. Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't bleed into real life every night, but think about it this way: how many nights have you thought about doing something else, and then like, oh, I'll play some pubs instead, and then all of a sudden it's 10 p.m.
Yeah, sure.
Those are the ones I'm thinking of too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Uh, duh, 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 duh.
Chat, anything else? We're at 45 minutes. I'd be willing to get another 5 to 10 if
I
people
think
got something.
with one less week in there, or with one less game in there, I think we call it a night.
That's fine.
I'll stream some rematch just to show people how good the game is.
Yeah. Okay. I guess content update. I do have Tribal Council coming Wednesday at 10 p.m. This will be episodes 10 and 11 prior to
Are these
the
last
finale
Ooh, okay.
episode. Yes.
The last pre-final tribal.
Yep. So that.
Boy, I've just been interested to see what's going on every single week now that I can't.
I know.
I was out very early. I don't know why I was out so early.
Hey, we talked about it. No friends.
I guess I'm the one person in this game with no friends.
You needed Elden, you needed SDs,
Yeah,
whatever that
that's
is.
what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, and Balgasol, that's who else we were typing
Yeah.
to. There was that four.
Yep, so
had to
special
think
guest Beast Mode on the stream on Wednesday.
Woohoo!
So he's coming after his novice game, and when he DM'd me that, he's like, "Yeah, I'll be on after novice." I just kind of chuckled to myself. That Beast is a novice. No thoughts, but that was
So
fun.
a lot of good gameplay tonight from everybody. Everybody did great out there.
Yeah. And then I guess that's it as far as content goes. We'll do this again next Monday. Hopefully have to resolve HEB FWO. Hopefully have to resolve Game 3 of Wave Pains and OPH.
Nothing. You know what's gonna happen next week is now 3 teams are gonna threaten to disband because of how good TPO was.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong.
Or I mean, I'm at least close.
But when it happens, we'll be there to talk about it. Yep. All right. Stream. See ya. Koos, thank you for your time.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.